فإن آمنوا بمثل ما آمنتم به فقد اهتدوا وإن تولوا فإنما هم في شقاق.
Alhamdulillah, wassalat wassalam rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man sara ala sabilihi ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. Inshallah, we'll continue concerning this particular series concerning Ilm al-Mustalah or Ilm al-Usul al-Hadith that we have started a few weeks back, and last week we had a break, and in the previous lesson we started with a Muqaddimah, explained certain things regarding Ilm al-Hadith and how the science kind of somewhat came about. Then last week or the previous weeks that we also discussed concerning where most of the ulama we start the discussion regarding Ilm al-Hadith or Mustalah regarding matters relating to a Hadith al-Sahih. So can I somewhat discuss some of those masail, not everything. The intention is not to discuss everything, but of those things that give a person a general idea concerning what are those things that are some of the things involved in this particular science. So today, inshallah, we have covered those that we can regarding a Hadith al-Sahih definition, some of the books related to that particular topic regarding those who have made it a condition that their book is authentic, and other matters pertaining to that, the different levels of authenticity and the likes. And now inshallah we go now to the next era that is discussed concerning the books of Mustalah, and of those books concerning Mustalah Al Hadeeth by Ibn Kathir, by Ahmed Shakir rahimahullah, that discuss concerning that covers concerning some of those matters, and of those things that to be discussed in our discussion today is concerning Hadith al Hasan. So next our discussion, we will start a discussion regarding Hadith Hasan. So Hadith Hasan. So that's the next level or the next type of Hadith. The first type being as-Sahih and those things that relates to it. The second regarding Hadith al-Hasan. And what is related. So of the first thing that usually discussed in these matters concerning Hadith al-Hasan, those matters pertaining to is definition of Hadith al-Hasan in the al-Hadith. So you have several definition that have been put forward regarding Hadith al-Hasan, as mentioned like in the books of Mustalah or the books of Ilm al-Hadith, and of those that they mention, at-Tirmidhi given a definition, Ibn Jawzi giving a definition, Khattabi and others. On the end regarding those definitions, the one that have become somewhat more popular regarding a definition also is the one of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah. So the one that become the more Ibn al-Hajar Al-Asqalani, his definition became the more popular definition. We said the more popular definition, more so from his time after. We include up at our time. We're not saying that, there's some discussion regarding giving Hadith al-Hasan a precise definition that was somewhat been a task for the ulama. And the discussion is still open regarding trying to give the most precise definition of Hadith al-Hasan. Is something that have a big discussion between the ulama of hadith. But after one we say the more popular, the ta'rif that is more mashhur, become more popular, and among some of the ulama is the one of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as he mentioned in his book Nukhba wal Dashar and Nuzha. So of the definition he mentioned regarding, as we mentioned, Hadith as-Sahih, it have 5 conditions, and that will also lead to definition. So Ibn Hajar they mentioned that concerning, we said the Hadith as-Sahih, Hadith Hasan, the definition that has become more popular concerning Ittisal al-Sanad. Ittisal al-Sanad. So it have a continuous chain. The second, اتصال السند بنقل عدل ضابط. بنقل عدل الضابط, meaning the person that and in this also this hadith is what, so this then they mention in concerning hadith's definition, but in this part بنقل عد ضابط ومثلا عدالة in hadith sahih they mention خف الضبط خف الضبط.
That's pertaining to the
Hadith
memory.
regarding concern a person's ability to memorize. So adopt regarding his memory, regarding his memorization of the hadith. Then they say khaf adopt. So of a lesser degree, so not to the high standing of sahih. Adala is still intact, but regarding the person khaf adopt, that a person that up to a degree lower his ability to memorize. So it won't per se after higher rank, but hadith al-Hasan, that the adopt is of a degree lower. But not to so that's concerning of the difference that they put the difference between hadith al-Sahih wa hadith al-Hasan. More so relating to khaf al-dabt. The dabt, meaning the person's ability to memorize, to retain the hadith, is of a lesser degree of that of Sahih. So Sahih of a higher standard, Hasan of a degree lower, and the other condition, Adam al-Shudud, wa Adam al-Illah. That's concerning, so that's hadith al-Hasan. Hadith Hasan ما اتصل سنده بنقل عدل ضابط بنقل عدل خف الضبط من غير شذوذ ولا علة. So that's concerning hadith al-Hasan. Hadith al-Hasan ما اتصل سنده, what the isnad is connected, بنقل عدل خفيف الضبط, the person's salaf is adala, but of a lesser degree regarding his dabt, till the end. وعدم وغير شذوذ ولا إلا, and also it is free from shudud wa illa. That's hadith al-Hasan. So the difference between hadith and Hasan or Sahih lies regarding, so all the condition is required of a hadith al-Sahih except regarding adapt to a lower degree of that of Sahih. That's the only difference between hadith al-Sahih wa hadith al-Hasan. Clear? So that's concerning what has been put forward by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah regarding this matter. So I said to know of the old of definition before, that of Khattabi, also and others, Ibn Salah, and others, At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, and others who have somewhat give some form of definition of Sahih, but not that precise. Now, the one that we say become more popular is the definition of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. His definition became more popular. But in Hasan, but say have a discussion with ulama, when you say khaf al-dabt, what really does that means, and how to measure? You understand? So as still a discussion, but we said this is a more common definition used regarding hadith Hasan. ما نقل ما اتصل سنده بنقل عدل خفيف الضبط and مثله من غير شذوذ ولا علة. So everything else is still intact. All the conditions, just as Sahih is intact, except for a dabt. So that's concerning what have been put forward regarding hadith al-Hasan. So just now, so that's concerning the definition of hadith al-Hasan. That's the definition of hadith Hasan. The next matter that now they will cover after that, and in the books of hadith that goes into some more detail, then they can somewhat critique the other definition given by other ulama. Now, we said that's not per se, we wish not to enter into detail, but there's other definition that were given people who preceded Ibn Hajar. Now, Ibn Salah and others who have written Khattabi, At-Tirmidhi, Nam, regarding Hadith Al Hasan, but that another discussion. Most of those definition, you understand, are critique. Some maybe fall short in certain things, or may more towards particular type of Hadith Al Hasan. But general concern, the one that become more popular is the one of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, اتصال السند بنقل عد خفيف الضبط من غير شذوذ ولا علة. نعم. So since now it and Sahih, and that is what concerning Hadith al Sahih wa Hadith al Hasan, they are both considered to be Hadith Maqbool. That's Hadith al Maqbool, meaning Hadith which is acceptable on their various degrees or various level. So Hadith al Maqbool will includes Hadith al Sahih wa Hadith al Hasan. As for the other masail, so of the things that ulama will discuss regarding critiquing and those different or other definition given by some of the ulama, then after they'll discuss concerning that after ta'rif Hadith Hasan wa ta'rifat al-ukhra, they'll discuss concerning of particular books that you'll find that a hadith of the level of Hasan that are mentioned within those books. So works of the ulama that somewhat you'll find become like a source of reference regarding Hadith Hasan. Meaning that you find many Hadith of Hasan may be mentioned in those books. And of those books, some of the works that might find Hadith Hasan, we said that the books of As-Sunan, and of those concerning Al-Jami' للترمذي. Jami' the Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, that his book is the one that discuss many hadith, that mention many hadith which is Hasan, or mentions about Hasan. And he's of the one who can somewhat have given hadith Hasan, it's said more its fame. So as we mentioned before, the ulama of past, more you find that what was more popular, that hadith either Sahih or Daif. But regarding the use of Hasan, was used within their vocabulary of the ulama of hadith and of certain meaning. We'll discuss that right after. But the one who kind of somewhat brought it to prominence regarding hadith being said to be Hasan, more so is Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah in his book Al-Jami'. So he referred to great hadith, many hadith as Hasan. Sometimes said Hadith al-Hasan, Sahih, and the likes. But the word Hasan used a lot within his book. So he's the one that someone gave it that type of shuhra, fame regarding the term Hadith Hasan. So his book then become like a reference point regarding that matter. If you go to his book, the word Hasan is used regularly. Sometimes combined with other things. Sometimes Hasan by itself, sometimes Hasan al-Sahih, sometimes Hasan al-Gharib, but the word Hasan being used, many. So you have that matter regarding of those sources, regarding also the book, other books of hadith, that also you might find how many hadith Hasan. Of the things that they discuss regarding Hadith al-Hasan, that is level of Hujjiyat Hadith al-Hasan. Is Hadith Hasan to be used as a proof or not? And the ulama of Ahl Sunnah generally concerned to know that it's a source of proof. So if Hadith is graded as Hasan, then it becomes a source of proof. Of a less degree of Sahih, but it's still within those sources, Hadith that can be used as a proof regarding any matters of the deen. Regarding whether the matter relating to Aqidah or matters relating to Al-Ahkam Al-Shar'iyya / Al-Fiqh, Halal and Haram, or matters concerning any matters, Fadal A'mal and the likes. As-Suluk, meaning Adab. So Hadith Hasan is acceptable as hadith Hasan, that is a acceptable hadith to be used as a proof. And have been used by the ulama of the past and of present of Ahl Sunnah. With the hadith Hasan, of the things that they discuss between some of the ulama, is that hadith Hasan is as we have defined it here with the definition of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. But the term Hasan has been used in the language of some of the ulama of past, the ulama of the past, and it may sometimes they may use it in different contexts. So the word Hasan used by the ulama of past, Ahmed, whoever of the ulama of the past, that the one to understand, not in all cases it is used giving meaning, having one meaning, as we have mentioned concerning in this context. So sometimes the word Hasan or Hisan is used, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's used in the context of how we just defined it here, as a degree below that of Sahih. Clear? So sometimes understanding when a word, maybe we latter ulama by somewhat of a common understanding or definition of a particular terminology, but the ulama of past may not necessarily give it that definition, but may use it even different ways outside the way that is used by those who came after. Clear? And Hasan is one of those. Hasan, hadith Hasan is of those, and some have mentioned some examples. So I mentioned that As-Sakhawi rahimahullah, one of the ulama of hadith, and I've written in Mustalah. So As-Sakhawi rahimahullah, he mentioned, and one of the famous students of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he have a book in Ilm al-Hadith called Fat al-Mughith. Fat al-Mughith. And he mentioned they said regarding Hadith Hasan, قَدْ وَجْدَ إِطْلَاقُهُ عَلَى munkar, that the word Hasan sometimes been used in a different concerning that use in a way indicating matters concerning Hadith Munkar. You understand? With the next type of Hadith to be discussed later. But it shows that used in different ways. So to be looked at regarding Hadith Hasan, not necessarily how we understand it of latter day, but understand Hadith Hasan as that alim of the past used it and intended. So that's something to be mindful of. So for example, I mentioned that Ibn Adi rahimahullah, he mentioned the tarjuma of Salam ibn Sulaiman Madaini, قال حديثه منكر وعامته حسان. Hadithuhu, this person, Salam ibn Sulaiman, he mentioned that his hadith munkar وعامته حسان. So in that context, he trying to bring to attention that munkar somewhat linked to Hisan. They mention إلا أنه لا يتابع عليه. So can I mention some kalam about him, but hadith. And also some ulama use the word Hasan regarding a person or his hadith in the way of it is something which is gharib, strange. So sometimes the word hadith in a reference to Hasan in certain contexts may not mean Hasan as we know it as in this definition, but something other than this. And in this case sometimes al-gharib. As it mentioned that concerns the qala Ibrahim al-Nakai, كانوا إذا اجتمعوا كرهوا أن يخرج الرجل Hisan hadithu, that he mentions some ulama that if they're in agreement and they ulama who are كانوا إذا اجتمعوا كرهوا, that if they agree regarding dislike of the use of a hadith of a particular person, which is a hadith al-Hisan, they mentioned that قال ibn Sam'ani, he said what is meant by Hisan in this context, he mentioned إنه يعني غرائب. So the word Hasan is used, but in context of hadith which is gharib. So the main shahid the main point is in certain contexts, certain words that we may have a certain definition of or hold a certain meaning. Sometimes it is not applied across the board, as sometimes, especially regarding those of the past, as they sometimes may use that particular word in a way different from how we use it later on. Clear? So that's something to be mindful of. So Al-Hasan sometimes is of that. So be mindful of how it is used then, different from how sometimes may be used later on. With Hadith Hasan, is of those areas you'll find that it's in between, as mentioned by the ulama, between Sahih wa Da'if. So it's in between. And Hadith Hasan can be of two types. Hadith Al-Hasan لذاته أو حديث حسن لغيره. Hadith Hasan لذاته is it is Hasan on its own terms, on its own. Doesn't need anything to strengthen or to give it weight. So it stands on its own feet. Now, as fulfilled that criteria. So that's a hadith Hasan لذاته. So it on its own is considered to be Hasan. لغيره, it means that they have a weakness. There's a degree of weakness that hadith may require another hadith to give it strength, to raise it to the level of Hasan. So the asl of the hadith, the origin of the hadith may be da'if, but with other factors, other hadith, other turuq, it may give it strength and raise it to a level of Hasan. So it's a hadith Hasan li ghayri. Clear? So repeat again. Hadith Hasan fall into two qisman, two categories. Though which is Sahih Hasan li dhatihi, meaning that the hadith it stands on its own. Nam, it doesn't need anything to give it a push. Nam, and hadith, and this hadith is like Hasan, they will be like a level close to Sahih. It will be closer to Sahih. Nam, this one will be closer to this. Nam, as for this one, it's more closer to this Da'if. Nam, so it's really in the category of Da'if, but due to other ahadith or turuq, other chains, Nam, with the same meaning of that relating to that topic, it gives it strength, and when they strengthen together, they give it. When they are combined together, it gives it strength. And that's what the hadith li ghayri, meaning with other than it. So it needs something else to give it a push or strength. So that's called hadith Hasan li ghayri. So that's concerning that particular matter. Another matter to discuss. Some of the ulama of past, of them, Al-Baghawi rahimahullah, that he wrote a book, Al-Masabih, Al-Masabih, which is a book of collection of hadith. But in this book of Masabih, he put hadith into certain categories. So I mentioned, وما يذكره البغوي في كتابه المصابي من أن الصحيح ما أخرجاه أو أحدهما. So Imam al-Baghawi rahimahullah, regarding this matter, they can somewhat to bring a personal attention to regarding this matter, regarding certain books and how they are written or put together by the author al-Baghawi. In his book Masabih في أحاديث, you know the book Mishkat? Okay. Al-Masabih, of a book written by Al-Baghawi rahimahullah, regarding collecting a hadith. But how he categorized the hadith in that book, he mentioned whatever is Sahih, that hadith is in the Bukhari or Muslim, or one of them. So the hadith agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim, or in one of those books, they call a hadith Sahih. Now, that's Sahih. وأن الحسن ما رواه أبو داود والترمذي وأشباههما, and other books similar to that. So whatever is in the book of Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, Nasahi, and other books, all those hadith, he gave a general rule that all those hadith, they are all considered to be hadith Hasan. So you have a general ruling, what's inside Bukhari Muslim or one of those books is Sahih. Whatever is in those other books of those likes, like Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, and similar to those books, he called it Hasan. Nam. And they mentioned that some of the ulama, they criticized this from him. They criticized this action of his. Nam. As you find hadith which is in the Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, or Nasai, know that the hadith are not the level of Hasan. Not everything in these books are Hasan. Just as not everything is Da'if. So hadith may be fall into any of those three categories, but to kind of give a general ruling regarding whatever is in these books, they are Hasanan, then they mentioned that they sort of criticize him for this. But some mentioned it was his book, that's his thing, and he made it clear. But the general thing is that a person being aware of certain type of condition the ulama may put on their book. So you have those type of discussion regarding hadith Hasan. Then they discuss in the book, which as we mentioned, that Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, that he used the word Hasan much in his book. Sometimes by itself and sometimes with Sahih or Hasan, Gharib, and the likes. So you have a discussion that the ulama discuss or try to discuss regarding what is the intent when the word used. For example, when you say hadith, Hasan, Sahih, what is intended by this? So he's combining between two, Sahih and Hasan together. So you have like a discussion between the ulama as to what is intended by combining together Hasan, Sahih wal Husn. Saying something is Hasan and also Sahih at the same time. Is this possible? What is intended by Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah when he would combine between those two mustalahat, Sahih, Hasan and Sahih being combined together regarding one hadith having such ruling. So a discussion regarding this matter in maybe more advanced, then those things can be discussed. Especially if said that one hadith he said the hadith is Hasan al-Sahih. Why? So you have a little discussion between the ulama pertaining to the use of Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah regarding Hasan and Sahih being combined together regarding the grading of one hadith. Also another factor, so that's concerning hadith Hasan. I would say most of the stuff that regarding hadith Hasan will be similar to that of Sahih. Regarding its use as a hujjah, a less degree regarding level of authenticity, but still one which is classed as hadithul maqbool, hadith which is maqbool. So after this discussion, then he goes into hadithul da'if according to the book Mustalah Al Hadeeth li Ahmed Shakir rahimahullah, a somewhat talikat or short of the book of Mukhtasar, book of Ibn Salah rahimahullah by An-Nawawi, by Ibn Kathir. So the next step will be hadithul da'if. The next discussion will be hadith ad-da'if. So said, bear in mind regarding hadith Hasan, that the main books of hadith you find, the bulk of the books of hadith are Kutubu Sitta, Musnad. You do find hadith that is maqbool. That's the majority of the hadith in those books. Kutubu Sitta, added to it Ahmed in his Musnad. Majority of the hadith will fall into the level of maqbool. Now, meaning they are either Sahih or Daif, Sahih or Hasan. But you do find Hadith which is Daif. Now, but that still will be, the majority will be the level of Maqbool. Now, and you find that ulama of contemporary times have worked on those books and gone through those books. And of them regarding effort regarding Kutub Sitta or Kutub, those books outside Sahihain, also efforts in Sahihain. But regarding concerning so the Kutub al-Arba, the book of Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, even we have Ahmed in his Musnad and others, that more so these books that in contemporary times, that many efforts regarding some ulama who try to study these books and grade the ahadith in these books and try to and make that clear distinction between the hadith which is sahih from that which is not. So of those efforts you have, for example, different people of those who try to make that distinction. Ahmed Shakir, so you have Ahmed Shakir, one of the Qudat as-Salafi from Misr. Nam, so he was a Qadi, an alim of Misr that also had some efforts regarding that, to put a lot of effort in trying to critique several books, many books of hadith and also of other topics. So he did that. Then also others who did that and even went to a next degree is Shaykh Albani rahimahullah. So going through these books, in grading them, these Kutub al-Arba, Sunan al-Arba, and grading them. Now, so Albani rahimahullah went through all of them individually and separate between the one which is hadith, which is sahih, and the one which is daif. Now, then others also have done the same with Shaykh Albani rahimahullah. If, for example, Abu Dawood, Sahih Abu Dawood, Daif Abu Dawood. So you can somewhat put the one which is Sahih in one set of books, volumes, and the one which is Daif, you put them separate. Now, go away from the then and did the same thing with these other books. That was his style. That's with him. Then others have also done effort regarding these Kutub al-Arba or Sunan, where again going through them. Some of those concerning that, those who have gone and try to give grading to those hadith. Now, of those, Bashar, Ma'ruf, just name mention of people alive still. Now, I was saying that we just mention of people who have done these efforts. Not mean that we're trying to praise anyone. Now, just mention the efforts of some. So of those who have done something similar regarding checking books of hadith, and distinguishing the hadith, and making a distinguishing and putting a grade to the hadith, we have likes of Awad, Ma'ruf, or Bashar, still alive. Sometimes we come to England. Now, have many books that he has worked on, Iraqi, Asl, but even Jordan now. But I've checked many books of hadith, and also amongst these Kutub as-Sunan, also Arnaut, which is from the same country as Shaykh Albani. So you have two Arnaut, Shuhaib and Abdul Qadir. Abdul Qadir rahimahullah passed away several years ago, and Shuhaib, to my knowledge, is still alive. But he have also Shuaib Arnaut have gone through all of these books. So and check them. So it says now a person buying these books, try to find more, and then you have a muassis in Misr that have also tried to go through these books and give the most precise checking of the book, which is also a discussion between some ulama who check the book, which checking of those books or print of those books are the most precise. Now, as the person generally concerning buying a book, especially hadith, trying to ensure that the book is as precise as possible, because the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So buying the right print or checking or print of those books that can give you the most accurate print of those books, because it has to do with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So those things need to be checked carefully. So I say generally those are considered hadith, and in those books it says no majority. Generally the hadith maqbool. Sometimes we say hadith Hasan. Another term that sometimes maybe not, you mentioned that the hadith is of three categories: Sahih, Hasan, and Daif. You find the vocabulary of the ulama of hadith, it's the hadith to jade. You understand? So the hadith is three types. So where jade come from? Nam, hadith maqbool. Nam, so you may other words that may be used regarding of them concern hadith to jade. Nam, what is jade?
Would jade be sahih or?
Hey, that's it. So jade, it means, a linguist, it means to be like something which is good. Jade, something which is like good, okay. But where it falls into that three category, Sahih, Hasan or Daif, where does it lies? We don't know what it lies within, where does it, but it is between Hasan and Sahih, or /Jade meaning Hasan. So it's a level of hadith being maqbool. Nam. So you have generally hadith la bas bihi. You understand? So sometimes you have other words, but most of those can somewhat give a meaning that hadith is acceptable. Hada hadith la bas bihi. Giving a meaning that no, there the hadith la bas, no problem with the hadith. So all of those can somewhat will fall into a level of acceptability. Nam. An alim acting upon a hadith doesn't necessarily mean a hadith is maqbool. An alim acting upon a hadith doesn't necessarily mean the hadith is maqbool, unless he has made as a condition upon him that he only works with hadith which is authentic or maqbool. So it still needs to be verified. Regarding just acting upon a hadith doesn't necessarily mean it is indication that it is maqbool, unless that is stipulated by the alim, that he only works with hadith regarding hujjiyah or istidlal. He can someone say I only work with hadith with authentic, and the word and hadith Hasan is of those areas where a lot of difference between the ulama. So regarding hadith Hasan is of that category of hadith where some might order hadith to be Hasan, and you might find others all to be Daif. So within that area, that's a grey area between the ulama regarding hadith Hasan. You understand? So you might find some say the hadith is Hasan, but some will say no, it's Daif really, because that's the grey area between the ulama of hadith regarding grading of hadith. The more complex or more difference you will find in that area regarding hadith Hasan or what is similar to it. So that's concerning of those masail related to hadith Hasan. We'll stop here today and continue on next week, but start off earlier.
Sure.
Seeing at the time of is changing, so rather than starting at 6, we start by next week 5:30 and go until about 6:30 inshallah.
Sure.
So that's concerning those masail relating to hadith Hasan. Some of it. What we mentioned here is not everything. As I said, one book that I got, which is the PhD thesis regarding hadith Hasan, 5 volumes. A little bit, so it's trying to gather all, as much of the masahil, and have that type of discussion between aqwal of the ulama, manaqij aqwal, trying to bring proofs, or what can be used as a proof regarding different aqwal. But hadith Hasan is of those areas where there's a lot of discussion, because trying to define hadith Hasan itself is the issue. Certain guidelines are there, but certain guidelines. So hadith Hasan is of those. But the primary thing is that we have mentioned, highlighted today regarding hadith Hasan. As for hadith Sahih, or daif to be discussed next week. So to be discussed the definition of hadith ad-daif, and then other types of hadith daif, as they fall into various type of hadith which is daif, and the reasons. So hadith daif would be that there's a shortfall in one of those conditions. So it could be any one or a combination. But the fact that some of these conditions, all these conditions are not met, then the hadith will be deemed to be daif. And sometimes could be multiple reasons why it is daif. And the various names that are given to different types of hadith which is daif. That will tell you, that can somewhat let you know the reason behind why it's daif, due to the name that has been given to it. So you have al-mursal, munqata, mu'dal, and the likes. Mawdu, something else, but to be discussed regarding wal-hujjiyah, and also to be discussed hadith al-daif, can it be used regarding when can and cannot be used. So when and when it cannot be used. So we discuss those things inshallah in the upcoming lesson. So since situation that Eid is midweek or early week, then we'll continue with the lesson on Saturday. Any questions? Clear? So we discussed the definition in the Muhaddithin, Hadith Hasan, also the matter concerning that, and also comparison where it differs with Hadith Sahih. Also the main thing is concerning adopt. So adal and those things that, so the adopt, everything else stays intact. Also of those books that may be said to be a reference or main source of reference regarding, mention Hadith Hasan, which will be the book of At-Tirmidhi and the books of Kutub As-Sunan. Also that some of the ulama sometimes may categorize the hadith in their book into various categories, such as Al-Baghawi. Sometimes some of the ulama may discuss the way that he went about doing it, but or at least one is aware when if one was to read this book Al-Masabih, regarding is Mustalah, or regarding how he the condition that he placed in his book.
You mentioned that at the first lesson, some of the books that one can get to which describes the adab and hadith. Which books did you mention?
No, regarding concerning that within the books of Mustalah, then there will be a section dedicated of regarding the adab of the talib and the muallim.
Oh.
So the sheikh and the talib, so you have like within the book itself, there will be a chapter just to discuss that. You understand? But the books may be brief, but you have maybe other books that may even go more in detail. But within the science itself, there's a chapter that will discuss adab al-talib wa adab al-mashayikh or al-shuyukh.
What book would you advise? The simplest?
The simplest, I'll say that in English, to my knowledge now, the book by Bakr Abu Zayd rahimahullah. Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd, I think adab al-talib al-ilm, they have translated concerning adab by Bakr Abu Zayd, as a book that has become popular of contemporary time, and explained by Ibn Uthaymeen and many who explained that book. So that a book to read, the language sometimes can be a bit, but of those books that can be used. I'm not, there may be others, but of that one as something to start with. So that's concerning that particular matter. Out of the talib al-ilm, that at least once a year, he reads at least one book on that topic, as a reminder to himself, at least one book. That's the least. That's a reminder regarding what's expected from him as being a talib al-ilm regarding his adab. As we mentioned, the ulama of hadith, they're very strict, as this is a part of the person's adala. You understand? Concerning his maru'a, how he functions as a person. And that can have an impact regarding him being said to be one who's acceptable or one whose his statements are rejected. So not just so, it's looking at him in a holistic way regarding what he bears as information, also how he functions. and applied what he have learned. If he have deficiency in his behavior, that could dismiss him of being a narrator, a credible one. Nam? So that inshallah ta'ala will end. وبالله التوفيق وهذه إلى السبيل.